Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 110 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find my patterns on Ravelry as well as knitcircus.com and driftlessknitting.com if you're interested in checking those out. Thank you for joining me today. It is Sunday, August 8th. It is 9:30 in the morning. I am drinking another cup of coffee because I've been awake for a few hours. It's still pretty early, but we've had a busy morning so far. My son Hudson is down for his morning nap. He's been sleeping for about half an hour, so I'm hoping we get a little bit more time in for this podcast. I had to do a little bit of put a load of laundry in, do a little bit of cleaning just to get started on the day's chores before I sat down to talk to you. But I really am hoping to get a full episode recorded. If I don't, I'll maybe patch in some things during his later nap. But this morning works out well because my husband is helping his parents on their family farm just for a few hours this morning until the rain starts. It's supposed to rain again this afternoon. We had torrential downpours last night and some thunderstorms. There was a tornado warning. I'm not sure if it touched down or not, but a little north of us, we didn't have that. But yeah, it was crazy last night, and we're supposed to get some more thunderstorms or just rain this afternoon. So he's mowing lawn, doing some other yard work and stuff for them this morning, and I have the apartment to myself for now, so I figured why not record. I hope you all are doing great. I already said that, I'm drinking some coffee. See, I need more coffee. I can't even remember what I already said to you. But yeah, I've been doing some knitting over the last couple of weeks. I honestly can't remember the last time I filmed a podcast. I think it was like just over 2 weeks ago, maybe. But I have enough to show you, and like I said, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to record again, so I thought, why not? I do have a finished object, but I'm not going to show it today. It is the hat I was working on last time that I'm designing. I did end up finishing that. I got a bit of encouragement from my friend Tanya, and I just decided to finish, and who cares if it was too big or not what I wanted. Someone else in the comments mentioned that if it was too big, I could just give it away, donate it, and then kind of start over. So it wasn't necessarily a waste of time and a waste of material. And yeah, so I just decided to go for it, and actually, surprisingly, it turned out to fit pretty well. I haven't tried it on since blocking it, so it might be a little bit bigger than it was when I cast off, but I don't think it's gonna be like too big. So Tanya's actually test knitting it right now for me. Thank you very much. And we'll see kind of what she thinks, and then I'll get back to getting the finishing touches on that pattern. So I'll wait and show that to you when everything's a little more ready to go. But in the meantime, I do have some projects that I have been working on. So let's show you the first work in progress. This is my road trip cowl, my leftover city cowl that I'm doing with the Woolberry road trip mini skeins. I haven't gotten too much knit on this, but I did add another color in. I think I finished knitting this color and then I added this color in since the last time we talked. And this one is probably the biggest contrast so far in all of them. They've all been like really like subtle. Even this red one, even though it doesn't look anything like these, it's still kind of speckled and subtly transitioned, whereas this dark one is such a pretty contrast to the light purple and green below it. So that's all that I've done on this, but I'm really, really still loving this project. The road trip collection from 2021. So they did, the game was released, which is what I got, the mini skeins, and then they released all the colorways after a while for pre-order. So I did end up pre-ordering one of the colorways. I ordered this one down here, which turned out to be Yellowstone. I did not get all of them correct. There was a few, my mini skeins looked a lot different than some of the other ones, and there was a couple that could have gone either way, and I just guessed the wrong one. So I think I got maybe I got 6 out of 10 correct. But it is really hard because, you know, if I'm focusing on one of the colorways or one of the colors that's featured in the inspiration photo, they might be pulling, you know, I don't know, the Yellowstone photo kind of threw me off because they had a picture of one of the geyser or one of the hot spring pools, and it was like this deep, deep turquoise. And then in the background was kind of more of a barren, it had like yellowish brown mud ground around it, and then some trees in the background. And so I was focusing on that turquoise pool, and they were taking more inspiration from the surrounding like landscape around it, and that's where like this one came from. So there isn't much turquoise blue in there. There's a little bit of blue from like the sky and stuff, but they really focused on the other aspects of the landscape. So, and everyone's gonna interpret these photos and these colors differently, which is kind of why it's fun. But yeah, I did get some of them correct. This one here was Golden Gate Bridge, which I got. That was really, really beautiful. This I think was the crested, oh, I can't remember. Anyway, you can go on her Instagram and see them all, but it was really fun. So I'm just really liking seeing how all of these mini skeins knit up and how they kind of blend together. And then I'm so looking forward to having that for fall time. I cannot wait. I want more like lightweight accessories just for around my neck. I've said that multiple times. I've really, really gotten into just kind of, I love big chunky shawls and warm things, but just having a light cowl around your neck to keep you warm just all day long, not just when you're outside, or not just when you're in your car going to work, or, you know, sometimes we keep our heat kind of low. So if I'm a little chilly at home, like it's great to wrap something around me, but just like having an everyday cowl around my neck, I just want a whole pile of them. So this is the first one from this year that I'm knitting, but I have plans for a few more and I cannot wait. I have so many fingering weight and DK weight cowls in my favorites that I want to knit all the time and knit them all. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, I can't remember how far I was. I think I had finished the first of these socks and had started the toe of the second one. So again, I'll just show you this first sock. I haven't woven in my ends yet. That's okay. So this is a Knit Circus yarn colorway, but it is a mistake sock set. So we didn't sell this full price. This was in our sale section. A lot of times we'll have what we call our seconds, which is either one of the gradients got like a blotch of dye on it, which happens, you know, there's dye flying around, and we try and have our gradients like exact so that when you're knitting, you know, you're not getting like weird colors, you know, down in a colorway that's up there, you know. But sometimes color runs, sometimes, you know, there's a drop that falls on it and we can't help that, so we'll sell those at a discounted price. And then we also sell these if we make a mistake in the actual dye process. So if we mix up the dye wrong, or if the process of it just kind of got like backwards. I mean, we've all had those days where we're just going through the motions and all of a sudden we've done something and it's completely wrong. We're like, oh no, that wasn't supposed to go there. That wasn't supposed to happen. So this is kind of one of those times where it just got dyed wrong. So it's supposed to have a lot more color down here and it just didn't, yeah, it didn't happen. So this is the second one. I just finished the heel yesterday, last night. We were watching some Milwaukee Brewers baseball. I had to turn it off though. We were tied in the top of the ninth, after the top of the ninth inning, and it was tied 2-2, and I had to turn it off and go to bed. Well, I was exhausted, but then also I knew that Hudson was gonna wake up early, and yeah, it's never fun when you stay up too late and then you still have that 5:30 a.m. wake up call from your baby. So I did turn it off. So I'm not sure if they won or not. I'll have to look that up, but I was getting some knitting done while watching baseball, and I finished my Fish Lips Kiss heel. This is my favorite heel to knit and my favorite heel to wear. My patterns obviously do not include the Fish Lips Kiss heel. There's some of my earlier sock patterns that refer to it because I used to knit the Fish Lips Kiss heel into all of my sock patterns. So I would refer to that pattern and then you'd come back when you were done with the heel, or you put in whatever heel you like. So if you like, I do know that there's toe up heel flap and gusset you can do, or if you want to do the afterthought heel, if you want to do the sweet tomato heel, just a regular short row heel, you could do that. So yeah, it's just kind of like, this is what I used, put whatever you want in there. Now with the last few patterns that I've designed, sock patterns, I've included a German short row heel, which is kind of your basic quintessential German short row heel. And yep, so those will be, yeah, so sorry, I'm like, my brain went in a different direction. So those patterns include that heel, but I still, for my own personal socks, I knit the Fish Lips Kiss. So there's that. And I did do this toe up, as you can see. And it's just a nice textured, kind of broken up seed stitch sock. There's no pattern for this. There might be someday soon, but not right now. And I have a Deli Dino progress keeper on there. That's not focusing, but maybe. Anyway, it's a amazingly detailed fruit tart, and she is not making progress keepers anymore. So yeah, there's still a few in her Etsy shop. I just looked the other day for a friend who saw a photo of the fruit tart and was like, oh my God, where'd you get that? And I had heard from somebody else that she wasn't doing charms anymore, but checked out her Etsy shop and she still had a few listed, not the fruit tarts, but some other, there's like some ice creams and macarons and things like that. So she did do amazing work. And yeah, her progress keepers are just amazing. So I'm loving that one on here. It's just colorful, fun, great for summertime. I'm knitting my socks on US 1 2.25 millimeter, and I have a 40-inch cable as I'm doing them magic loop. So yeah, I think that's all the info. I forgot to tell you what bags these are in, but they're the same bags from last time, so nothing new. This isn't a Darn Yarn wool wedge bag, so it's got the wool fabric on the bottom and then this great tree fabric on top. I love that. And that's where my socks are stored right now. I also had my road trip cowl in a bird legs bag. They do not make bags anymore. Sadness. But it's cute. And these are kind of my summery. I go through themes, so I have like all my bright summery, like the trees and the farm and everything like that. I keep those out in the summertime, and then I switch out for some in the fall, and then move on to more wintry, Christmassy bags in the winter. The next project I have isn't even on or in a bag, but this is the beginnings, the very beginnings of a beloved, what would you call it? Bonnet? Baby hat? Yeah, so isn't that cute? I've never knit one before. I've wanted to forever. And I just started it the other night. I didn't get very far that night. There is some short rows that I'm going to be starting soon, and at that point I just wasn't ready to knit short rows. And even last night I was going to knit on that, and I'm like, my brain isn't quite ready yet for short rows. So I think that's going to be my project for today, because I really want to get that done soon. It's a quick knit. It's done in DK weight yarn. Did I say it's by Tin Can Knits? I think I did. And I'm knitting it out of this DK weight here. This is from Yarn Cafe Creations. It's her American DK, 100% superwash merino wool, Americano DK, sorry. It has 231 yards, and yeah, I think that's all the info. And the colorway is Aspen. So that's the colorway name. It's this beautiful kind of tannish brown with speckles of like green apple, almost like a green apple green, and darker brown throughout it. So very naturey, very beautiful. Yeah, I was really excited to wind that up and cast it on, because I've had that yarn for a few years now, at least 2 years. I think 2019, we had a trunk show with Christy of Yarn Cafe Creations yarn at Knit Circus, and I stocked up. I probably got 5 or 6 skeins of her yarn when it was here, maybe even more than that. I know I got like 4 skeins of fingering weight for a fade. I got a few skeins of her, like, one of her other like fall colors, like a pumpkin orange. I think it's not a solid. It's got some of like pumpkin orange and brown and cream and stuff. And then I got the aspen, and I think I got a couple more. Yeah, I went crazy on that. There were so many beautiful fall colorways that I could not pass up. And she does fall colors really, really well. A few of her current colorways are calling my name, and then some of Tristan, who's her daughter and also dyes yarn for Dragon Horde Yarn. She's been putting out a lot of her fall, Halloween, autumn colorways, and there are so many that I want. But I've already, like, I cannot order yarn. I ordered, so after the Woolberry road trip game that I ordered, I also got one of their advents. So that's my advent calendar for this year. And that sort of blew my budget, and I used birthday money, and it was also like part of my birthday present for my husband. And so it was fine. I didn't feel too bad about it, but still, should not be ordering more yarn. And you will see in a second that I got a couple things in the mail that I had ordered a long time ago, so I'm like not counting those. But then I also was really bad, and I stopped at our local yarn store here in Sauk City, Wisconsin, which is where I live, and I picked up some new yarn for a sweater for Hudson, which I probably have yarn in my stash that would do the work just fine. But I was like, oh, I'm home early, I can stop in there. And of course I walked away with yarn. I can hardly ever walk into a yarn store and not come away with something, so it's good to just to avoid it. So I almost forgot to show you my blanket. I did get a chance to knit a couple squares the last weekend, I think. I think Saturday night and Sunday I did 2 squares. So Saturday night I knit this square right here. This is out of a Dye Monkey Yarns fingering weight. I knit a shawl out of this, one of my Badger House shawls. Not the original in the pattern, but it was the second one that I did of that shawl. And that's one of my own designs. Badger House, as in Hufflepuff. I associate myself with the Hufflepuff house, if anyone's asking. And it's right, this one was already in there, so I did this one on Saturday night, and then I did this one on Sunday. And this is a homespun house colorway that I picked up quite a while ago. I knit a shawl with this and another color that it's kind of like my secret shame shawl, because it was, that's kind of a funny way to describe it, but it was a design that I was coming up with, and it did not work out the way I wanted it to. The shaping, I had this cool idea for this shaping, and then it just didn't turn out, and I was trying to figure out how to like wear it, and I was frustrated, and so it's in my closet. It's not even with my other knitted things, it's just like in a box in my closet. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I should take it out again and take a look at it and just like, is this something I could figure out how to wear? I'm sure I could just wrap it around my neck and it would be fine, but I'm like, to publish it as a pattern, I didn't think it was really worth it, because I don't know how many people would want to knit this shape. It's just odd. I don't know. I don't even want to show it, because I'm just like, yeah, it's just different. It's just different. So anyway, it's beautiful yarn though, and I loved the combination. I did this one and then a like emerald green with it, a solid, and it turned out, the combination turned out great. But yeah, just a little complicated with the wearing of it and the photographing of it and the writing of it. So it's just one of those things. Oh, and my phone is telling me that my battery is dying. So hopefully we can finish this up before I have to go plug my phone in. So anyway, I have lots of ends to weave in. That's kind of my next goal. I have this whole section over here. I try to weave in my ends little as I go, because I know it's just gonna get overwhelming if I leave them all. Obviously, all of the rest of them are already woven in. It also kind of stresses me out a little bit, and I don't like the look of having all my ends like everywhere. I like having things kind of neatened. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that soon. But yeah, I'm really excited that I finally got a chance to knit again on this. We're just gonna throw it back there. Good enough. So yeah, I've been wanting to knit again on that for the longest time, and I finally picked it up and knit a couple squares. It makes me so happy. So maybe today I can knit on it a little bit again, since it is Scrappy Sunday. So yeah, so that's the story with that. So now let's get to some yarn. The first thing that I got in the mail recently was this beautiful skein of Bumblebee Acres yarn. I love Bumblebee Acres. They're such an amazing family. It's all a family business. They dye such beautiful yarn and put out amazing patterns. And I love getting their stuff. One of the things I love about them is that they take inspiration from a lot of different places, shows, TV shows, movies, books. They also do just nature inspired and things like that, but for the longest time they were doing Harry Potter inspired, and recently they decided to discontinue those because of all of the awful things that the author of those books, not even gonna deign to say her name, but the author of those books has been supporting, I guess, or not supporting, or being prejudiced. And yeah, she's just a bit of, she's not a great person. Anyway, I still consider myself a Harry Potter fan of the books and the movies. They're still, they are close to my heart. However, I do feel like some of the magic, see what I did there? The magic has left that world for me right now. I'm taking a break. Like usually I reread the books a lot. Almost every couple years I will restart the series and read through them again. I just feel like I need to take a break with it and sort of leave it be, step away. That's not saying that I don't appreciate what Harry Potter's done for me, and I don't understand that for a lot of people it is like a very welcoming place in a way. Those books, they used to be about just accepting everyone and fighting evil and coming together for the good of, you know, the whole over the individual, and it is very inspiring. Unfortunately, you know, the person who came up with that world and put life into it is just is just problematic, and I can't support her. So yeah, so that being said, I did order the very last of the Hogwarts Order of Magical Makers that Bumblebee Acres put out. This does not in any way go, like, none of the money goes to the author, and yeah, it's completely, what am I saying? Like, independent of, like, yeah, financially. Wow, I just like butchered that, but you know what I mean. So I love how their last one was it's just called Hogwarts Order of Magical Makers, and it's just kind of a magical colorway. So they, I believe, kind of based the colorway off of this beautiful illustration, and just got some greens and pinks and just these really beautiful pops of color around the gray and the black. So yeah, so like I said, I haven't boycotted completely like everything to do with Harry Potter. I'm just not really wanting to financially put my money towards anything that's going to benefit the author at this point. I already have the books. I already bought, you know, I already have all those. If the movies come on TV, you know, I know they always do marathons over, you know, Halloween, and there's a good chance I'll stop and watch, you know, part of one. I'm still gonna knit with my Harry Potter themed yarns. Yeah, I need to just take a step back, I think, from it, and yeah, have some breathing room from that, because it is something that was just very heartbreaking, very disappointing, when something that you are so in love with and you grew up with suddenly has this like taint to it, and you don't feel good about supporting the person that's, you know, coming out with these hurtful messages about people who have rights and who deserve to be happy and healthy and be themselves. So yeah, that's my message. Hopefully you understood that. Okay, next thing that came in the mail. This just came in the mail yesterday? Friday. This is my Little Town on the Prairie. Oh, so spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't gotten it yet. I'm in the US though, and Molly's in Germany, so I feel like most people in the US probably got theirs already. Although if you live like in Australia or something, maybe, although I don't know if I have anyone who watches this who's living in Australia. If you are, comment below, because that's awesome and I would love to know that. So this is from a Homespun House. This is the latest Little House on the Prairie Club yarn. This is Little Town on the Prairie, one of the later books. She's going in order and dyeing up yarn that she kind of interprets her own interpretation of the Little House books, because obviously this is like neon, hot pink, and orange, and very much not like a prairie scene, although I love thinking about all the wildflowers out on the prairie and how bright and vibrant they can be. So that's kind of what, I don't know if that was her thought, but that's what I think of when I see this. And it also came with a progress keeper from Lock and Lou, who is Katie, who actually lives like 10 miles away from me, which is crazy. I'm like, I feel kind of silly about getting this package all the way from Germany with a progress keeper from Katie, because she lives like right down the road. But this is Katie's information. I don't know why it is not, I don't know if it's because my lighting is not great today. I don't know. Hide my face. Anyway, you can find her on Instagram, and she has a website with all of her beautiful progress keepers. And this is a little baby mouse. I'm not sure what the story is behind this progress keeper, because there's always, they take inspiration from the books and from a story that Laura tells in the books. And this little mouse has a piece of yarn or string in its mouth. So I'm like, there's gotta be, I mean, obviously it's based on the book. So there's gotta be something, a story in there about a mouse like chewing through something. I don't know. I haven't read that particular one in a really long time. I've read the early ones probably like a dozen times each, but then, you know, as with a lot of series, as you go, sometimes you don't have time to finish them, you stop reading them, whatever. And so the later books I've probably only read a couple of times, and it's been maybe 10 years since I've read those. So my son and I are kind of reading them. I'm reading them. He's 11 months old, so he can't read, but actually he's 11 months old today. I can't believe he's almost a year. It's so crazy. I feel like I was just podcasting with this gigantic belly sitting here being like, not yet, like we still got a month to go. It's so crazy how time flies. But I was reading them to him as he would like play in his little playpen or sit on the floor, and now he's like cruising around. He's crawling, he's pulling himself up on things, and he can walk around the furniture a little bit. So he's just playing and crawling and moving and cruising around. So we don't get as much like reading time because I'm usually like chasing after him a bit, but sometimes when he's just like playing with stuff in his room or here in the living room, I'll get out the book and just sit and read for 10-15 minutes out loud to him while he's playing. And we are almost done with Farmer Boy. Like literally we have a chapter, maybe half a chapter left. And then we have to move on to Long Winter. I decided to, so after Shores of Silver Lake, I went to Farmer Boy because I'm missing my copy of The Long Winter. And I was gonna go home to my parents' house and find it because I have tubs of stuff that, you know, I used to have at their house that I don't have room for yet here. And so it's still like a lot of my childhood stuff that I want to keep. They still have it down in their basement. So I was gonna go through my book bins and see if I could find it, but I just have never had the chance. So I think I'm just gonna order a used copy of it for a few bucks. I'm assuming it's from, a used bookstore or something. It's not gonna be that expensive. And I'll find my copy eventually, probably, but I just wanna read, just wanna keep going with the series. So yeah, so we're gonna move on to Long Winter, and then after that is Little Town on the Prairie, right? Yeah, Little Town on the Prairie is after Long Winter. So then hopefully I will find out, or if any of you remember the story of the mouse in Little Town on the Prairie, let me know, because I can't for the life of me remember that, and I can remember, I have a pretty good memory, so yeah, so it'll be fun to discover. But I'm really excited. That's a 75-25 merino nylon blend. It's her soft sock, and I'm really excited that it's on a merino nylon because that means I can knit really cool socks. Some of them came on just 100% merino, so I tend not to knit socks out of that. That'll be more like accessories, or I knit Hudson a little flax light out of the first one, out of Little House in the Big Woods, and it was perfect for that. So soft, amazing. But I want to knit myself socks in some of these colorways. So the last thing that I got is, this was an impulse buy, but I'm trying, I don't regret it. I don't regret it, no regrets, but still, I shouldn't have, but it's gonna be so cute. So I was at Flax and Fleece, which is here in Sauk City, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful kind of new yarn store. They moved locations and there's a new owner. It used to be DeMarie's Fiber Shop, DeMarie's Yarn and Fiber, something like that. But I saw this tweed DK from Spun Right Round, and I just thought to myself, how cute would this be in like a little grandpa sweater for Hudson? So they had an oatmeal color too that I was like, ooh, that would be so cute, but also baby crawling around, yeah. So I decided to get smoke rings. This is the colorway Smoke Rings, and you can see it's just a really beautiful gray. It's got a little bit of variegation, like with darker and lighter gray, but not too much. And it's just got those pretty black and kind of oatmeal colored tweed pieces. So this is a DK weight. There is 230 yards, 85% superwash merino, 15% is the neps in there that make the tweed. And it's from, yeah, Spun Right Round. I have some other yarn of hers in like really fun speckly colors, but this is my first time that I'll be knitting with her solids and also with her tweed. And I haven't really knit much with tweed. I have a couple skeins of tweed, but yeah, not very much. So that'll be fun. And I did get 3 skeins, like all the patterns we were looking at for toddler, like, I mean, toddler, we're talking 12. Well, I probably won't knit the 12-month. I'll probably knit the like 24-month because he's already in 12-month clothes. And in a couple, when it gets really cold, he'll probably be an 18-month. Yeah, so we'll just go up a size. Maybe he'll be able to wear it next year too, if he stops growing so fast. So yeah, every pattern that we were looking at was saying that it was gonna need about 3 skeins, or at least 2.5. So I thought that just 2 skeins of DK would be fine, but I guess not. Oh well. If I have some left over, I'll knit like a really cool hat or something. It'll be great. So yeah, that's what I impulse buy, but it was so much fun because I was the only one in there when I went, and the ladies were just kind of chatting with me about Hudson and asking me how he was. And I was in there once before with him, so they did kind of remember him. But then they were just asking me questions, and I told them what I was thinking about doing, and they got really excited and were helping me look at patterns and find yardage and things like that. So it was really great to chat with them and be in there. If anybody is in the local area and wants to, and has their Wednesday nights free and wants to participate, they are doing a knit night outside at one of the parks by the river here in Sauk City. They're gonna have food trucks there, and it's like bring your own chair and sit. That way we can spread out. We don't have to be in the shop, and we hopefully don't have to wear masks then because we'll be spread out enough, and outside. But yeah, so that's really fun. That's gonna be happening on Wednesday nights, and I'm hoping to get to a couple of them. And they were gonna just do it for like the month of August, maybe into September, but they were saying like, you know, the weather is usually pretty good September, even into October. We can have some warm days. So maybe it'll go for a couple of months, and that'd be really fun to be able to get together with some knitters. So anyway, yeah, if you're local and free, I highly encourage it. And hey, let me know if you're going, because that would be super fun. So the last thing I want to talk about before A, my baby wakes up, and B, my phone dies, is the fact that we got to over 800 subscribers here on YouTube. And I don't know how or why, but we got a lot of new people coming. So hello to everyone who's new. I probably should have said that in the beginning. And yeah, I'm so excited that you guys found my podcast. Thank you so much for subscribing and for watching. I'm a smaller podcast, which I'm totally cool with, but it is kind of like thrilling to see your numbers bump up. Like, I think I got like 40 new subscribers in like 2 days or something, which is just crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to do a giveaway, and just to say thank you to everybody for subscribing and watching. So we're gonna do it here on YouTube, and I want to do, so to make it easier for like the random selector, we're going to do a keyword, and we're going to do keyword, let's do Driftless. So in the comments, you can make a comment, but somewhere in that comment, put Driftless, or make the comment and then at the end put Driftless, and then I'll be able to like, put that in, and it'll recognize that you entered the giveaway. So what we're giving away is, let's see, what should I show first? Okay, so I have to give away a little bit of yarn, and this one might be a little hard to part with, but I think it's a really fun summery giveaway. This is a beautiful hand-stamped sock blank from Dye Monkey Yarns, and I got this a while ago. It's been in my stash, and I've been saving it, but I saw it and I'm like, that is so special and fun. I don't know if she does very many sock blanks. This was kind of a special for a trunk show that I went to. So it's got all of these beautiful sunflowers and leaves and butterflies, and it's just gonna knit up so cool. So it's a full 100 grams, and if you haven't knit with a sock set before, or a sock blank, basically you just find the end, that's not the right end, you find the end that unravels, and you just sort of like pull it apart to knit with it. And the color is gonna show up. You can see it's kind of like speckly. So you're gonna get some green, some brown, some yellow, some purple, some blue. It's gonna knit up really cool. I used a sock blank to knit a little shawlette, to knit the Woven by Casapinka. That was a few years ago, but if you have watched for a long time, or you've been binge watching, which I used to do with podcasts, if I found a new one, I would just go through and like watch all of them. I think I watched all of the Grocery Girls over a period of a couple months. I just like sat, and this was obviously before having a baby, but that was like my knitting thing, is I would just knit and I would binge watch Grocery Girls episodes. So if you're doing that, no judgment. I think that's really awesome. But yeah, so I did a shawl out of a sock blank, so you don't have to knit socks. You can knit whatever you want, whatever uses 100 grams of fingering weight. So that's what I'll be giving away, as well as this great little Notions pouch with, we've got, let's see here, we've got some beautiful rosewood cable needles. We've got a tape measure, always good to have those. We've got a mix of like rubber stitch markers, and then some larger ones too, so you kind of get all sizes. And then we've got this beautiful lotion bar from the Yarn Bar. So yeah, all of that will come in this great little clear pouch. Oh boy. It's always nice to have more of these too, because then you can just put what you need for a project in you know, a little pouch like this and just stick it in your knitting bag, and you don't have to worry about like going back to, like, I have a couple of little notions bags, but I don't have my stuff like spread out enough. So sometimes I'm like having to, you know, drop my project, go into the other room, dig through my big knitting bag, find my notions, dig through that. Like, I should just keep a pair of scissors in each bag. Like, that just makes more sense. But yeah, so it's nice to have some of these just to spread out your notions. And then both of those things will be coming in this beautiful little project bag. So a little kit. I actually am not sure where this is from. This was given to me, I feel like this was given to me by my former bosses. I'll cut that part out, yeah. So yeah, beautiful, fun project bag. This would be great for a hat, a cowl, kind of like a one project, or a one skein project. So a pair of socks, something like that. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited. So please, if you'd like to be entered into this giveaway, see, I mean, this notions bag, this little plastic notions bag fits perfectly in there. So you've got plenty of room for a project. So if you'd like to win this, please comment below and include in that comment somewhere Driftless. You don't have to make a comment, you could just say Driftless and you'll be entered. But yeah, I wanted to say thank you all for coming back, watching, and if you're new, for finding my podcast and subscribing. It means the world to me. I love sharing what I'm doing. I love talking to you guys about what you're knitting and just this shared passion that we all have. So I really, really appreciate it. I think I hear my little guy in there making some noise, and it's already been about 47 minutes. So I'm gonna sign off and say again, thank you. You can find show notes for this episode on driftlessknitting.com. I'll have everything that I talked about linked, if it can be linked. And hopefully I'll get back and film another one in a couple of weeks. So thank you all again for coming and joining me. Until we meet again, do things that make your heart happy, be kind to one another, and I'll be doing the same. Thanks so much. Bye.